So I believed God and I saw the benefit to the extent that within 3 days of ministering to my patients, I could actually boast of half of my salary as rewards that it gave to me. How will it feel if you can live that way? Hello, precious people. My name is Dr. Iphie Blossom Omar Kalu, simply known as Dr. Iphie. You're welcome to my YouTube channel, the platform with Dr. Iphie. For several weeks, from the beginning of April, we've been discussing a series I entitled Take Personal Responsibility. Take personal responsibilities. If you've seen my videos, previous videos, you know that there are 4 segments to it. I've handled the first part, which is take personal responsibility in your health. Last week I handled the second segment, which is take personal responsibility in your spiritual life. Today, I'm going to talk about the third segment, which is take personal responsibility in your finances. Yes, your finances. You know how important money is. Money is a Lego tender. It's a piece of note with which we exchange what we need with what the other person has. Therefore, money is very, very important. I read a book by Pastor Kenneth E. Hagin of blessed memory. The name of the book is The Midas Touch. And in the book he said that money is an essential commodity in today's civilization, which means that money is vital for our very existence and the ease with which we function in our today's world. If you need to take a flight to the UK or US, you need money. If you want to have a treat or give your children a treat, you need money. However, we don't allow money to rule us. We need to understand the purpose behind money if we must take personal responsibility in our finances. Now, what does it mean to take personal responsibility in your finances? It means you have to be in control over how you manage your finances that God allows to flow through your hands. The riches that God brings into your space, into your account, into your hands. You need to be in control so that the money does not rule over you. For us to take personal responsibility in our finances, we need to first understand the purpose of money. Money is not our master. It is supposed to be our servant. We earn it, we give it instruction on how it must go, but we don't allow money to rule us so that we don't run after money at the expense of our lives or the comfort of our loved ones. Money is our servant and not our master. A second point you need to understand about money and its purpose is that God is the source of riches. If God is the source of riches, that means we have to go after Him, we have to please Him, and be able to receive favor from Him. Thirdly, we need to understand that our jobs, our careers, our vocations are channels of God's blessing. Whatever you lay your hands, the scripture says, He will bless it. I'm talking about the good work, the good ones, not negative ones. If the negative ones are what you're involved in, you might experience prosperity to some extent, but it is not what the Bible calls good success. In the book of Joshua chapter 1 verse 8, the Bible talks about good success. So there is a good success, there is good riches, there is the bad one that will grow wings and fly away. As we see in the book of Jeremiah 17, the Bible says there that ill-gotten wealth will grow wings and fly away, and you'll be like a partridge that lays the eggs and does not stay to watch it hatch. So the type of riches and finances I'm talking about is the good success, the good wealth, the one that comes from above. Remember, our jobs, our careers are channels for our blessings. Another point I want us to understand is the fact that riches in God's kingdom, it comes daily. Our finances come daily. Psalm 68 verse 19 assures us that He daily loads us with benefits. That means every day, if your heart is open and you trust God, there is a benefit that comes your way. I remember a time when I had some issues and I needed more finances to sort it out in my family, and I just made a prayer to God. I said, God, you daily load us with benefit. As I go out today, provide resources for me. As I went out, can you imagine? Most times, doctors are the ones financing the medication, the purchase of medication for their patients. But in this instance, each time I administer a medication for a patient, or a patient consults me and I treat the patient, they'll come back and say, doctor, take this one for your flu, take this one for your weekend soup. To the point that one of the days I just administered an intramuscular injection, and one of my high-profile patients just said to me, Doc, take these dollars for your weekend soup. He gave me dollars in Nigeria. Can you imagine that? In Nigeria, our currency is naira. But he gave me dollars, a high-profile patient. Naturally, they think we are comfortable as doctors. But at that very instant, when I opened my heart and God was bringing resources, something changed within me before something could change around me. And that's what Bishop David Oyedepo used to say. Until something changes within you, nothing will change around you. So I believed God, and I saw the benefit to the extent that within 3 days of ministering to my patients, I could actually boast of half of my salary as rewards that He gave to me. How will it feel if you can live that way? You can trust God every day as He gives you a daily supply. That's enough of that. Next, I also want us to know that finances in God's kingdom are entrusted. You need to be faithful in little before He gives you something bigger. Finances in God's kingdom, according to Luke 16 verse 11, is entrusted. If it's entrusted, He gives it to the faithful. So if you're diligent and you're faithful in the works of your hand, you will be entrusted with that money. He said that if you're not faithful in the little works of mammon, how can He now entrust to you the true riches? That means there are true riches, and there are some that will grow wings and fly, like I mentioned again. Apart from having an understanding of what money is, or how the purpose of money, the next mode of taking personal responsibility for your money is by being diligent. If you're diligent in your services, in your career, you qualify for God's blessing. The scripture makes us understand that when a diligent will stand before kings and not mean men, not mere men, not anyhow man. When you're diligent, it will take you to the palaces, to the high table. If you remember the man Joseph was very diligent. You remember David, he took him to the palace. Joseph ended up in the palace. So when we are diligent, we end up in high places. Call them a faith source. He promotes us. That's what he said in the book of Psalm 75, 5-6. He says, promotion comes not from the west, not from the south, but it comes from the Lord. He is the Father of all light. He upbraided one and brings down another. Our promotion comes from Him. Remember, God is our source. Now, next, apart from being diligent, you need to also improve skills, acquire skills in your area of vocation. If a doctor, you acquire more skills. If you are a civil servant, you also need to upgrade your skills so that you have more specialized need, and people will come for the uniqueness that you need to offer. So if you're going to take personal responsibility, you need to upgrade your skills. If you stay static, you will get stale. So work on your skills. Now, the next area you need to take personal responsibility, if you're going to take personal responsibility of your finances, is that you must have a budget. You must plan your finances. Don't just dip your hands into your pocket and spend anyhow. Impulse spending or impulse buying is one of the fastest ways to get cash crunched. If you're a civil servant, as soon as your salaries come, you buy beer or buy this. Someone is hawking shoes in the office, you end up owing. Before the second week of the month, the finances are gone, and you can actually practically begin to beg. That's not a way to live. You need to plan your finances. Put the education of your children in the agenda, your feeding in the agenda. In my family, what my mom used to do was to have a menu and have a budget for what she's going to spend on the food. And she's into bulk purchases. Besides that, she was also a farmer. In the morning, she would wear her clothes, fine clothes, her figure 8 clothes, go to school, teach. After the school has dismissed by around 2 p.m., she will enter her farm with her work clothes. She had a farm where we had melon, had maize, had cassava, she planted yam and vegetables. At the beginning of the month, she will have all those things. Whenever the salaries are paid, she will get things in bulk, bushels of rice, beans, yam. And whenever it's time to make soup, she can actually pick vegetables and make soup. We had a constant supply of corn. She will hang them up near the heat, the local cooking devices that we had outside, like the firewood and the fireplace, so that you can dry it and use it for another planting. She was a workaholic. She used it to amend to worship whatever she was getting from her income as a teacher. Remember back in their days, they were austere times. They were not paid. Dad was a teacher, mom was a teacher, and at some point they were not paid. And we saw ourselves in a circumstance where myself and my 2 younger brothers were in the university at the same time. We could not get any means for our school fees to be paid. My mom tried, and at some point our dad said, "Don't worry, I know where I'm going to get money." He just entered to a friend's house and they gave him money. And he told me my first school fees was borrowed. At that very time, he did not let me know. But much later, when I had graduated from medical school, he made me understand that. And I came to my senses and I realized the terms at which I went to school. But at that very first school fees that they borrowed, it didn't continue like that because we trusted God. God opened other channels. My dad got a political appointment and he was able to take care of us. A simple man or an ordinary man might think, since they are borrowing the first school fees for this girl in medical school, how are they going to train her in medical school? But God stepped in and proved himself. We were able to go through school, myself and my 2 younger brothers were comfortable until we graduated. God proved himself, So in all that you do, apart from having your budget, still lay it down before God. That brings us to the next point, the God factor. You need God in all these things. You can make your plans, but the counsel of the Lord, that's what will stand. Without God, your plans will crumble. When you take personal responsibilities, face God and allow him also place his blessings on what you're doing. Now finally, you must have a retirement plan. Don't just keep working. For us in civil servant, I'm a civil servant, there should be a retirement plan where civil servants have pensions and all those. Sometimes you realize that our pensions don't come. So you must have a personal retirement plan. You would say, what if your salaries don't come regularly? What are you supposed to do? That brings us to another point. You need to have multiple streams of income. Don't just depend on one source of income. The one source of income could be your means of getting your salary. The other streams of income will help you so that you can have other finances. If one shuts down, like when salaries are owed, you can have other sources of income. Think about the things you do very well. The things that gives you joy and you do it stress-free. That can give you a link to what your other source of income could be. You might not need to be physically present at the job site. You might be doing online businesses. A lot of persons work in distant shores right from their homes. Google online, check through, find out what other people are doing, pray about it, and God will give you counsel so that you can have other streams of income. Finally, I remember when I got married, my husband told me something. He said, "Iphie, there are 3 things I hate." Talking about him, 3 things he hates. He said he hates death, he hates poverty, and he hates lies. When he told me those, I laughed. And I just added it to the list. I said to him, yes, those things I hate them, but I also hate sickness and disease. That's actually my driving factor, my motivation into becoming a doctor. Why am I saying that? You need to hate poverty. Poverty is not a symbol, it's not a sign of spirituality. Neither riches a sign of carnality. You can actually be rich and yet very humble and serve God. What makes a difference is our mindset. There are some poor people that are very haughty and they don't recognize God, while there are some rich people that are very humble and they are serving God with their finances. Remember, finances in God's kingdom, they are entrusted and we use it to spread the gospel. Zechariah chapter 1 verse 17 says, "My cities through prosperity shall be spread abroad." Your money is not necessary for you to go up in or to feed on your family alone. you serve God with your finances. As I round up in this segment, there is a story I read on Facebook, and that's about a young Hindu girl. They were going through hardship. You can look. I saw the picture of that girl. Her hair on dirt, her face smeared with charcoal, dirt, and her clothes tattered. Some missionaries came to her and asked her, "Are you Hindu or Christian?" She looked at them and said, "I am hungry." So there are times you see people, what they need is actually food, minister to their tummy. So that's when God entrusts money into your hand. Channel it to His service. As you serve Him, you take care of your family. You shouldn't miss on that. But remember, money that God puts in your hand should be for serving the interest of God's kingdom. If you can't go out on evangelism or go out preaching or doing other things, your money can go for you. You can actually be a missionary without even being in the field. You fund those that are on the go for God, and you see your finances multiply. Remember, we need to take personal responsibility in our finances. As a recap, you need to understand what money is for, what money is, the source of money, and the essence of your career. Then you need to be diligent. In addition to diligent, you need to be faithful. If God finds you faithful, He will entrust the true riches to you. Then you must have a savings plan and a budget, then a retirement plan. Then central to it, know that God is the source of our finances. He alone entrusts the true riches to us, so let's trust Him. I believe you have listened to this and you must have been blessed. There are things you might need to unlearn about things in the past or ideas you have about money. If you've been blessed, I'd like you to comment. Give me a comment on my video, like it, subscribe, and share it lavishly with your contacts. Remember, we have 2 other segments I've already uploaded previously. Take personal responsibility in your health, take personal responsibility in your spiritual life, and this present one, take personal responsibility in your finances. The last segment will come up next week, and it's entitled Take Personal Responsibility in Your Work Family Balance. I'm sure you'd like to hear that. How you need to strike a balance between your work and your family. When you are working, your family doesn't have to suffer. Neither should your job suffer because of your family. There should be a balance so that conflict between work and family is balanced. Till then, I trust God to keep us safe, secure, and healthy. Till you see again in my next video. Bye-bye.